of you are either starting college or going back to college, and I wish I was still in college. So I'm making that standard back to school, back to college advice video. Except no. Oh, I feel very pretty. It's true, I do. Because I'm also going to include with each bit of advice a funny story or anecdote or tale from my college experience. It might be something that happened directly to me, it might be something that I witnessed or happened to a friend, but it's a great story regardless. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out which ones were appropriate to tell you, and I may have picked some that weren't that appropriate. Anyhoozle, it's gonna be fun. Let's get started. Before I start, I do want to make this warning. A lot of my stories may involve the consumption of alcohol, and some of them may involve underage drinking. And it's not something I really want to encourage because it is kind of stupid, but I also know that it happens. So if you are going to drink, please be smart about it. If you have a scholarship or some sort of job or restriction or sports team that says that if you are caught underage drinking, you will be kicked out of school or kicked off that team or lose your scholarship, please, please, for the love of God, do not drink, okay? It is not worth losing your opportunity to get a quality education because you want to seem cool or get buzzed, okay? And basically, you can get the same effect from a caffeine or sugar high. So drink a couple Red Bull, pop a couple 5-Hour Energy, go out there, you'll have better motor skills than everyone else, but you may still feel like going crazy. Please drink responsibly. Piece of advice number 1. Study what you love, not necessarily what is practical. You are paying tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to go and get an education from wherever you're going to school. This is your life. Study what you want, not what your parents want you to study, not what's practical, because this is the time to really get to know what you love, okay? You may discover that you could find a great career path that has nothing to do with what you thought you were going to major in. And P.S., it's okay not to know straight off the bat. Take interesting classes, okay? Figure it out for yourself. Cool Jen doesn't wear her glasses to tell cool stories about college and changed her shirt. I want you all to know and appreciate the fact that my parents watch my videos, so regardless of the fact that some of these stories are not directly about me, they're going to assume they all are. And I am risking great personal embarrassment to tell you these stories, okay? With that being held in mind, story number 1. Here's a fun tip. Do not ever, ever drink almost an entire bottle of UV blue and then go out. It doesn't matter that it tastes like a blue Slurpee and that you really think it's a blue Slurpee because it's not. It's vodka. It is pure vodka that you're drinking. Straight up pure vodka with more sugar. Because you'll end up puking into a senior's toilet and begging to pet the kitty. Spoiler alert, the kitty was actually a bunny rabbit. Also, this story may or may not have become associated with a text from last night that was posted very soon after the incident happened. And it is so associated that for a long time, certain people involved in the story, for some reason, thought that that text message was also sent from the person who drank the entire bottle of UV Blue, and that text message's main part was, I don't want to be a Smurf! So yeah, that happened. Piece of advice number 2. Groceries. Buy them. No matter how comprehensive and amazing your college meal plan is, you are going to want to have food in your dorm room for 2 main reasons. Reason number 1, you will inevitably sleep in or just not feel like going to the stupid cafeteria one night, but you'll be hungry, alright? And you should never go to class on an empty stomach. So, if you accidentally sleep in or late for class, you need to have something to eat. That is quick and easy. Reason number 2 you should always have groceries, drunk munchies. If you've been drinking and you come back to your room, you can't always order a pizza. You're gonna drain your cash so fast. But if you have food in your room, you can just sit there and eat all the goldfish you want. Story number 2. There's this game, I don't know if you've heard of it, there's this game, it's really popular in college. It's called either Beirut or beer pong. And it's essentially involves a ping pong ball in solo cups and alcohol and water. Very important tip if you are going to play this game, especially in college and crowded places. Far more sanitary to use water in the cups and have the drink to the side and just drink every time someone gets it in the cup, but not drink out of the cups. far more sanitary, and you can reuse the same cups over and over and over again. Life tip over. Okay, here's the thing. Sometimes when maybe you're underage or living in a dry part of campus or just don't have access to a longer table-like surface, you may choose to find a way to configure so that you can get the door off of your closet or in-room storage unit, and it's neatly so that you can put it back on very easily and don't cause any damage. You can get it off and perhaps you place it on top of the 2 desk chairs that have flat tops, and then just put the solo cups on that and use that as a table, because sometimes that might work and happen often. You have to be very careful in those situations though, because seriously, RAs and RDs and public safety come running at the sound of ping pong balls in freshman dorm rooms. Just saying. Running. Be careful. Drink responsibly. How many times can you say drink responsibly in this video? Drink responsibly. Piece of advice number 3. This is more of a word of wisdom than advice, and it's really geared towards you first years and freshmen, alright? You need to understand, especially in these first few weeks, everyone feels so awkward and uncomfortable and weird and sad and oh, so many emotions in these first few weeks, okay? And you're not the only one who's feeling like this. You're not the only one who feels like no one is around them is actually connecting with them. You're not the only one who feels super awkward, who keeps getting lost on their way to class, who has no one to go to the cafeteria with. I promise you're not the only one. And you will feel like this for a little while, but that's okay. Because eventually you'll find that one person, or those 2 people, or those 5 people who you really connect with, and then college becomes this huge, amazing experience, and you get all these ridiculous stories, some of which you may regret sharing on camera years later. Story number 3. I think it's safe to say that we live in what would be referred to as a hookup culture. Practice safe sex, kids. Always wear a condom. Use birth control. Just don't be stupid, okay? That being said, this story is not about sex. This story is simply about that hooking up that you do a lot sometimes in college that is making out. And this is less of a story, more of like a list of people and places to make out in college that happened to my friends and I. Sorry, Mom and Dad. So before I start this list, I have to say, mostly because my parents watch these, this is not just me, this is a compiled list of a lot of people. You can make out in someone else's bathtub next to another same-sex couple. You can make out in your bedroom, in their bedroom. You can make out with a freshman when you're a senior when you're a freshman, any year when you're any year. You can make out with someone on the floor of a party that's dead, except the DJ's still there. You can make out with all of your best friends, and it's still not weird. You can make out with, you can make out with a visiting actor from a performing company that you invited to a party and then you also made out with because they came to the party because what? You can make out, dangerously close to an air conditioning vent that you might fall into. I'm talking outside. You can be a female making out with a gay male that is also very good friends with your cousin in your cousin's bed. You can, sometimes you go to school with your cousins. You can make out on the floor, in the hallway, right after someone else just made out with that same person that is also your friend, and that person that had just made out with that person was also dating someone else, and that person gave them permission. That's really complicated. Holy shit. You can make out with the weirdest kid in school that everyone's like, about, and your best friend can try her hardest to get you to stop making out with him, and you will still make out with him, and it will be one of the banes of your existence because she'll still bring it up. I was the best friend in that story. You can make out with anyone, anywhere, because in college, like, no one cares, and there's no judgment, and generally speaking, especially if you're just making out with someone, it's like, haha, we made out, that happened, we're still friends. Like, not even kidding. Be ballsy. Just do it. Do it, because it's fun, and no one really gets hurt with that one. Unless, like, you have a significant other that you're making out with someone else. But don't do that. So don't cheat on people. But, yeah, if you're single, party hard, dude. Make out. Despite the fact that it's dusty and has no place on the wall, despite the fact that I'm tens of thousands of dollars in debt, college was amazing and I just want to go back. Even if it was for this extremely expensive piece of paper and a really nice frame that cost extra. Okay.